Joining me now with the road ahead is Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, ranking member of the Senate Homeland Security Committee. Senator, it's great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning.
Where are you on this debate? What about two reconciliation packages versus one? And would you support putting raising the debt ceiling in the first one?
You know, I think 2 versus 1 is not a deal killer either way for me. I think we need to make sure the tax cuts become permanent is the most important. And also important is to make sure we cut spending. We have an annual deficit of $2 trillion, a total debt of $36 trillion. So we have to do something on the spending front, and we have to make the tax cuts permanent. That's a big job. Whether it's 1 or 2 doesn't matter so much to me. On the debt ceiling, I'm one of the conservatives, who's never voted to raise the debt ceiling. But there are circumstances in which I would, and I've put those forward before. I have a plan to balance the budget in 5 years. If we had a speaker with a spine who put forward a budget and a plan to cut spending over a 5-year period to balance the budget, I'll vote to raise the debt ceiling because you still have to add debt during that 5 years. What happens typically, and this is where President Trump is right, since conservatives don't vote for it, the liberals rule the day and they say, we'll vote for the debt ceiling, but only if you spend more and create more debt. So it backfires. But there's another alternative. Rather than getting rid of the debt ceiling, you get a speaker with a spine who puts forward a spending plan that actually encourages conservatives like myself and some members of the Freedom Caucus to join on. And we will support raising the debt ceiling, but only if you reform government. You have to reform government. This is probably the #1 problem affecting the future of our country is this $36 trillion debt, and we have to do something about it. So for me, let's put forward something that cuts spending and then see if we can get all the conservatives on board where you don't need Democrat votes at all.
Well, I think that would be terrific, but unfortunately, each person or some of your member colleagues have their own wish list. I mean, if you don't have tax extensions in the first reconciliation plan, do you lose members like a Mike Lawler from New York who says, no, the only thing that's important to me is renewing the SALT deduction. So if I don't see the SALT deduction in there, I'm a no on the border. I mean, do you lose Republicans if you don't have taxes in the first one?
Well, see, this is sort of the thing is who has the guts to follow through and who doesn't. So Speaker Johnson was faced with he had to give $30 billion more in subsidies to big agricultural businesses and farms. He did it because some big spending Republicans wanted it. And yet I would have stared them down and said, OK, vote no. Vote no, because we're not going to give more subsidies amidst a $2 trillion deficit. We're not going to give more subsidies and see what happens. So, I think you need strength in a speaker, somebody who can put forward something that actually is going to change the course. I can tell you if we add $8 trillion in this next administration of debt, people will be frustrated. We have to do a better job on spending. And that means fiscal conservatives like myself and others will continue to stand up on principle because we're afraid we're going to destroy the country. We're afraid they're going to destroy the currency. We're afraid that we're getting to a cataclysmic point. Social Security's running out of money. Medicare's running out of money. Somebody has to stand up and say, enough's enough. We don't have any more money.
Yeah. And to that end, that is why you had lots of drama over the week, this past week, with critics circling the wagon around Mike Johnson. You just said he doesn't have a spine, and you tweeted out this week. The Speaker of the House need not be a member of Congress. Nothing would disrupt the swamp more than electing Elon Musk. Think about it. You write, nothing's impossible, not to mention the joy at seeing the collective establishment, a.k.a. the Uniparty, lose their ever-loving minds. Were you serious about this, considering Elon Musk for Speaker?
It might have been a little tongue-in-cheek. I think Elon's got some important stuff to do, building rockets and making Teslas. But I do appreciate his input, and he has changed the debate. He's drawing attention to the things I've been talking about for a decade, the waste. Tomorrow we'll be celebrating Festivus, the made-up Seinfeld holiday. But in that, we will be talking about a lot of the waste we've talked. Ridiculous, crazy things. For example, $760 million spent at the NIH on diversity, equity, inclusion. I thought they were studying science over there. Nope, it's about race. That's crazy. $600,000 to discuss why there are microaggressions among obese Latinx. What does that even mean? Even Latin American people think Latinx is a stupid term. These are people who can't figure out their gender, Latinx, who are fat, who are having microaggressions against each other. This is the insanity. This is why we can't rest until we cut spending, and we can't just raise the debt ceiling without actually cutting spending.
Yeah, I look forward to your list tomorrow on this Festivus holiday, the made-up holiday, where you're going to come up with all of that. That's incredible, that list that you just gave us right there. But, Senator, are you saying you'll support Mike Johnson, or you're not supporting Mike Johnson? Do you have somebody else in mind that you want to see as Speaker?
Well, you know, I don't get a vote because I'm in the other body, but I would say that I did get one vote about 4 years ago. I got one vote for Speaker. I think Donald Trump has gotten a couple of votes for Speaker. I think it's good to mix it up and let them know we are not happy with the job they're doing. But really, someone just has to. People at home say, well, why don't we control the power of the purse? We elected Republicans. Why don't we have the power of the purse? And people say, well, the Democrats control the Senate. So I say, well, what does that mean? We have 50% of the power of the purse. No, I think we exercise zero because they're so afraid of shutdown, so afraid of Democrats. They pre-decide, they pre-negotiate with themselves. They give Democrats everything they want. We should stand firm, and the House should put forward a budget that balances. The Democrats put forward an exploding budget, and somehow you come to a compromise. Instead, Republicans in the House, the Speaker, give up in advance, give the Democrats everything they want, and the continuing resolution didn't do anything to curb spending. We added $330 billion in spending just this last week in Congress. I voted against it, but the Speaker went along with it.
Senator, real quick before you go, are you going to be supporting all of President Trump's nominees for his cabinet?
You know, I couldn't be happier with his nominees. I couldn't have picked better. I mean, some of them are people exactly I would have picked. Marty McCary at FDA, Jay Bhattacharya at NIH, Bobby Kennedy, Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, just the list goes on and on. Pete Hegseth, good people. And yes, the vast majority I will support. On day one, we'll try to get Kristi Noem through Department of Homeland Security. Russ Vogt for OMB. We're going to work hard to get, I think in the first week, you'll have a half a dozen of them approved in the first week. I will control one committee, and that committee I pledge to get them through as quickly as possible.
All right. We'll be watching your work, Senator. Great to see you this morning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.